Well, hello friends. Welcome to the Pirate Round. I be Captain Skultopus, and this be the Scarlet Raven. Now, Scarlet, you know, one thing about the Pirate Round is that we're very interested in history. And naval history.
That's true, Captain.
Naval history particularly. And one of those things about the naval histories and the nautical histories is you can't talk too much about that without talking about rum, can you?
No, you can't. And you're just in luck.
Oh,
because
look what we've got here.
I've got some historical rum. Right
that
here,
rum be very historical.
that Bill G has been so kind to commandeer.
Well, Bill G, thank you so much now.
This be British Navy Pussars rum from the 1600s.
Oh,
The original Admiralty rum.
well,
And I must tell you, this is the rum that got me started drinking rum.
oh, that's true. That's true.
It's a good rum. 42% alcohol, so it's a little bit of a hotter rum.
It's a bit warm, yeah.
And they also call this Nelson's blood.
Oh, well, of course now we're talking about Admiral Horatio Nelson himself, who died fighting the Frenchies there at Trafalgar, was it?
It was Trafalgar.
And when he was killed then, they
on the HMS Victory.
on the Victory, they knocked him up into a barrel of rum and sent him home. And that's why they call it Nelson's blood.
They pickled him in a sort
They
of
pickled
way.
him in a good sort of way. Now, before we get started, as we do every time here on the Pirate Round, we're going to make a toast. And this toast, of course, is to our friends. Our friends who are here, friends who are not here, friends who we wish were here,
Friends that we've lost.
friends that we've lost, and friends we've yet to meet. So we pour ourselves a little bit of spirits and libations here from the Crystal Skull. And we do this in your honor, friends, and you cannot be here, so we toast to you. And we say to you now, friends, Yar har,
Yar har.
smooth sailing.
That's smooth.
That's good. Now,
Okay.
Pussars Navy rum, they say. Where does it say it's from there, Scarlet Raven?
This is let us see. What does it say it is from? I know it says it here somewhere.
Somewhere on the label, perhaps on the
see.
back. I
I've
think
read
it's,
this once
of course, it'd be
before.
from the Caribbean now, where all good rums come from.
The lighting is not so good today. It is, let's see, it's imported from Florida, but I know it's not from there.
No.
Let's see. To read a little bit from the back, from 1656 until July 31st, 1970.
A horrible day.
Better known as Black Tote Day. That's when the Royal Navy stopped serving rum to their
Horrible.
crew.
Horrible. What would you do without it, I say?
Royal Navy sailors were issued a daily ration of Pussars rum.
They
How
were.
much rum was it, Captain?
Well, now, they had their choice. Either a gallon of beer or a pint of rum per day. And now, of course, on long voyages, water itself does not keep that well. Now, it can go bad in the casks and make men sick. And so one thing, of course, to preserve the water was to mix it with rum and perhaps a bit of fruit juice or so to keep the teeth in. And they call that grog. And of course, if you had too much of it, you'd be groggy. wandering around. But this, what would an old Royal Navy tar be without his grog? And they would have their choice between a pint of rum a day or a gallon of beer. So you can imagine that quite a few of those old salts were probably high-functioning alcoholics. But the rum, would keep the chills at bay, and perhaps improve your attitude, and make the sting of the lash just a little bit less severe.
So, this is from Trinidad and Guyana.
Oh, there you go. Trinidad and Guyana, they say. So, the Caribbean, of course.
Influenced by centuries-old wooden pot stills and continues to be crafted in accordance with the Admiralty specification.
Oh.
The sailors called it Nelson's Blood.
Nelson's Blood.
It liquid history.
Liquid history, folks. And I'd say right now that here at the Pirate Round, we're very interested in history, nautical things, piratical things, and history in general. As Bill G would often say as he guards his own wooden pot that he says, history to a rat is but a second, but rum in a glass for a man, why, it'll last you at least an hour.
So, a little bit of history about Pussars with us. We had an event that we had to give a gift to somebody, and they couldn't know who had given them the gift, but we knew a little bit about them.
True.
And the person that I had to give was a man by the name of Scotty. And Scotty is a pirate.
He is, Scotty.
He's a big pirate. He's got his big old long beard.
He is, Scotty.
He likes to wear his kilt.
He does. A pirate kilt.
A pirate kilt. He's quite an entertaining fellow.
True.
So anyway, Scotty likes his rum.
He does.
So on his list of things, I saw that he liked rum.
Oh.
And I went out and I thought, what's a better thing to give a pirate who likes rum, but some Pussars rum.
True. Navy rum.
And I gave that to him, and I guess he quite enjoyed it. And afterwards, we decided, we can't be giving it to somebody, and having not tried it ourselves. So we tried it, and this be the rum that got us started drinking rum.
True. Now, up until this time, I will admit, most of the rum that I've always drank, has been the kind that you would gladly pour across the top of a table in order to strip the paint off it. Swill, we call it now. But I would say that Pussars was quite a shock. Now, it is a bit of a hotter rum, and it does burn a bit, but it's got a very good rum flavour. And rum, of course, tastes a bit of like sugar and sweetness, and a bit of
the wooden cask,
like a little bit of wood from the wooden cask where they mellow the rum. And Bill G knows all about how they mellow the rum there in the wooden cask, and it should have a little bit of spice to it, just a little, and not all spiced. Not all rums are spiced, of course, but Pussars would have just a bit on the end, to where you taste a bit of fruit or a bit of a nut in there or something to give it a bit of a flavour. So, without further ado, there, Scarlet Raven, let's have us a bit of sip of this Pussars rum.
Now, unlike some rums, this one actually does not use a real cork.
Well,
it's also got the Navy flag on it.
Well, yeah, we're not going to hold that against it right now.
It's rum.
It's rum stuff. After all. Oh, there we go. It's got a nice dark amber colour to it. Darker than a lot of rums. It's got a deep, rich colour.
See if you can see it there in the light.
Quite good.
What light there is.
It's got a very strong,
I can smell it already
rummy flavour to it. A very strong rummy aroma.
Now you can really smell the wooden oak.
You can.
In there, as you, even from here.
Yeah. Well, it's got a quite strong wood flavour. And you got a little bit of initial burn.
A little bit in the nose.
And a bit in the nose.
On the tongue.
And then it goes down, and you feel the sense of warmth, and you get a bit of a burn to it. So it's not quite as smooth as a lot of rums. But it's definitely a very rum, it's very rum type, a type as a rum flavour. So
it's not quite a cocktail like some of the others that we have that you might drink over ice and cool, but you could.
This Pussars would be best used, I think, for either mixing with other things to make a sort of a grog.
Like Blackbird's Pyrate Revenge.
True, that. Or sitting around with your friends sampling different sorts of rums and saying, well, here's a historical rum, my hearties here. This be Pussars Navy rum, Nelson's Blood. We're all going to taste it and we're all going to come up with an idea of what we like, whether it's good or not.
Now, as far as the cost of rums, Pussars rum is not a horribly expensive rum. I think we paid between 120 and 30 coin for it, which is not too bad. It's about maybe a little bit above average, but right probably in the pricing range of a good rum or a good liquor.
Yeah, a decent rum, you know. And
unlike Calypso rum at $10 for a big huge bottle of it.
Well, yeah, it's true. You know, I have a soft spot for Pussars, and that is because, you know, it's got the history behind it. And it is that first rum that we did get Scotty, and then we did have a bottle of Pussars for the longest time. And we would occasionally give some of our friends shots of it, just to see what they thought. And some liked it, some didn't. But we always like to keep a bottle of Pussars around, just for emergencies, don't we?
That we do.
Yep.
In case we run out of the other stuff.
Well, that's
not
true.
That we ever really run out.
We
of
wouldn't run out typically, but
Bill G makes sure of that.
Bill G makes sure. Yeah. Have you drunk it all there, Scarlet?
I have not.
Well, we say you're hard.
You're hard. You can definitely taste the woody the more you drink it.
That's true. I think the cask comes through stronger and stronger.
I think so, but it definitely warms you up on a nice cool day. It'd be really good to have some of that.
You know, I can almost taste a bit of tobacco in there. Just a bit.
It's maybe a little bit, but it's
very
it's not
subtle.
It's not bad.
Very subtle.
Which should be kind of a new flavour for. There is a rum that we will be sampling sometime in the future that has a very tobacco-y.
It does.
But we won't talk about that right now.
No. But I would say, okay, now, friends, Pussars Navy rum. Keep some about for your emergencies and if you need some rum to mix cocktails and stuff. It's definitely a cut above your average rum for cocktails. And keep in mind you're going to have a rather strong wood flavour when you drink it. So when you mix your grog, make sure you mix accordingly so that you don't put anything in there that wouldn't contradict, say, the wood flavour and make it taste bad.
I would say it's also, for the price range, it's better than some of the more expensive rums.
True.
That we've had.
True. You know, it's a good rum. Something to think about and also to delve deeper into the history of Nelson and why it would be called Nelson's Blood and why you'd have Royal Navy sailors that would want their rum or their grog. So there you go, my friends. Pussars Navy rum. So this episode of the
Pirate
Round now be concluded, and we say to you now, friends, always be true to yourselves, always be a pirate, always live the pirate life.
Don't let anybody kick you down.
Don't let anybody grind you under your heel, because you be a pirate and you don't have to take shite from no one.
And always be yourself.
Always be yourself.
Which is a pirate.
Good day to you.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Now, rum be one of those things. and that's always associated with pirates. Because pirates, of course, many of them were Royal Navy sailors who had defected or given up their sailing career aboard Navy ships and turned pirate. And rum being very important, and rum being a product of the Caribbean, where quite a bit of the golden age of piracy, dripping rum everywhere. Golden age of piracy took place. And everywhere, in popular culture, you see the pirate with his bottle of rum, tilting it back and slugging it down and swaggering around the beach.
And of course, the famous image of Captain Morgan and Captain Morgan rum.
Captain Morgan rum, which we'll talk about. We'll do an entire episode about Captain Morgan and his rum soon. And then you'd have, the types of rum that various types of rum made and how it was made in the Caribbean. And then the bottles they would have it in, which was the big fat bottles, fat on the bottom and narrow on top. They called the onion bottles, onion-shaped bottles, which they found on the bottom of the ocean all over, and particularly in Jamaica, where they had the earthquake there.
Oh yeah, I
was
just reading something about that.
Right, where the archaeologists have found these bottles buried at the bottom of the ocean. Some of them still with rum in them. Can you believe?
So Pussars rum dates from 1665 until July 31st of 1970. That's when the British stopped giving their sailors their daily ration of rum. Quite a sad day. It was better known as Black Tote Day. Royal Navy sailors were issued a daily ration of Pussars rum. This award-winning rum from Trinidad and Guyana is influenced a centuries-old wooden in stilts and continues to be crafted in accordance to the Admiralty's specification. The sailors call it Nelson's blood, and we call it liquid history.
Will that be true?
There's a great Black Day, the end of the day of the rum.
That was it.
But a sad day. That's
a terrible day.
Not getting your daily share of rum.
A terrible day. Now, rum be unique amongst the liquors of the world, and those of us who enjoy our stronger spirits and not so much beers,
or even stronger like whiskeys.
Yes, exactly. And now rum be there amongst the important liquors of the world, such as mead and Irish whiskey. And rum being that it's built from the ground up in the Caribbean and has such a powerful spiritual component that travels across time and space and the histories. And we can connect it up to its very earliest beginnings amongst the slaves making their own rums, and all the pirates and the sailors drinking, all the way up until now and enjoying the flavors.
So you talk about the spiritual connection. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, so one way to appease your ancestors there throughout the Caribbean, if they be angry upon you, is to take a bit of rum out and you put it in your mouth and you spit it out upon the doorstep of your house,
hearth,
about your hearth, and you'd say to your grandfather, "Don't be angry now. Though I be moving into this new house, your spirit here be with me, and I give you this now to keep you satisfied." And you'd take a tot of rum there, a big shot, and you'd spit some out, or you'd pour some out in a glass and set it out upon the mantle for your grandfather, your grandmother, or anyone else, so they'd come along and have a shot, so they wouldn't feel neglected or left out. And that's why we start every episode of the Pirate Round with a shot of rum. And it's for our ancestors, and it's for our friends, and we say to them, well, we wish you were here with us, to those who are alive and those who have departed. And we say to them, well, we wish you were here, and we're happy that we're here, and we're here to say to you that you're always welcome here at the Pirate Round.
Celebrating your memory.
We're always celebrating your memory. And so, as we end every episode of the Pirate Round, let's have us a little touch of liquid history there, Scarlet Raven. And we'll go ahead. Oh, there we go. That's good. Some rum. Yes. And we'll say to you, friends, on the Pirate Round, don't be afraid. Be strong. Be courageous. And always stay true to your colors and the piratical way.
Have grand adventures.
As grand adventures.
And may your sailing be smooth and your seas not so rough.
That's be true. Your heart.
And don't let somebody downtrod you.
And don't let those in power there make you afraid. You be a pirate and be proud of yourself for what you be. Yarhar. Pussars Navy rum.
Woo!
That's some hot stuff, it says.